Real Country with Robert Miguel.
KVOU Sports with Drew. Presented by Chicago Title.
104.9 Coyote Country.
That's right, time again for KVOU Sports with Drew. He just said it. I can remember the title. Yes, KVOU Sports with Drew. It
Sports
rhymes.
with me.
It rhymes.
Yeah.
Should be easy to remember.
As always, Robert, I appreciate you having me here. Chicago Title, 116 Northeast Street. Win Dubose, branch manager.
Win Dubose!
Win Dubose.
Put a W in the column
Yeah,
there.
buddy.
Win.
830-333-7050. Yeah.
How did we got that?
No, yeah, it was good. Get a W. Come to Chicago Title. You'll always get a W.
That's right. That's right.
Some cool stuff. The playoffs, NBA playoffs. There was a record set this weekend. There were 8 NBA playoffs games this past weekend, and all 8 were won by the road team. That's crazy. That alone is crazy. The pressure to play on the road, in front of other people's fans, obviously probably not liking you, and then going out there and performing at your best and beating the home team, which is always tough, is something to be said. And so the Raptors were one of 8 road winners, beating Orlando. Then the other road winners were Boston over Indiana, Golden State over the LA Clippers, and Portland over Oklahoma City.
The Road Winners. Sounds like a Mel Gibson movie.
Yeah, it sounds like they need to be that, and they need to be in the WWF.
Oh.
Yeah, like that. The home team won 71% of playoff games last season. So you're talking about, that's a massive proportion. Over 2/3 of the time they're winning those games. So I just thought that was a really cool, quick thing to pull, and I wanted to let everybody know. Moving on, sticking with some basketball stuff pertaining to the WNBA. CBS Sports has signed a multi-year deal with the WNBA to broadcast 40 games per season beginning next month in May.
So how many games do they have per season?
That I don't actually know. I didn't get that number.
But it's an increase from last season.
Yeah, for sure. And from what I'm reading about this, there's the games will also they'll be prime time and on weekends and will be shown on the CBS Sports Network. So they signed that deal, which I think is really big for the WNBA brand. The terms of the deal haven't been disclosed. I'm sure that will become public.
But they had a bump in the ratings this last season,
that
right?
was the deal, exactly. So I've got some notes here. Also, they signed a deal with ESPN to show 16 regular season games, including 3 on NBC. And last year, the WNBA had a strong regular season with combined average viewership across ESPN2 and NBA TV up 31% over 2018.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
A great
Good for the awesome for the brand. Really like to see the sport getting the recognition that it deserves and be out there. So best of luck to all the teams in that. That kicks off. It's a 23rd season actually, and it starts on May 24th.
23 seasons. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Seriously. I didn't know they'd been around that long.
Yeah, it's been good for them. It really is. So you can catch a lot of those games. Just tune into the CBS Sports Network. I wanted to cover a little bit. This is just pertaining to some college football. Nick Saban, he's the Alabama head coach. Everybody knows old Nick Saban, and he had hip replacement surgery. Gentleman, 67 years old, but he is expected, all you Roll Tide fans, he's expected to make a full recovery and should be able to work in the very near future, per his doctor.
You know, what's with hip surgery? I mean, what's hip replacement? You hear about it all the time. I've never known anybody personally that's gone through it. But is that like an athletic? Is it like an athlete's thing?
No, I think a lot of it, and please do not blow us up in the comments because
we're not doctors.
Neither Robert or I or our doctor.
I mean, I'm a doctor of rock.
Yeah, no, I like that. Dang, that's your new nickname.
There you go.
Doc of Rock?
That's
okay,
right.
Yeah, we're going to run with that. Okay. No, apparently I think it literally has to do with a lot of just bones breaking down over time and hips being a bone that I'm guessing gets a ton of work.
But 67 seems young.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the normal going rate is, but that does seem young, definitely. But we have to understand he's a very active man.
Yeah.
On those football fields, you see those coaches running up and down. I mean, I'm not saying that they're out there running a marathon, but it's still, at 67, running back and forth, and that doesn't even take into account whatever he does as far as taking care of his body, working out.
And we don't know what he's doing, between the sheets either.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. That could be it. You know what I'm saying?
Workout over there.
So, we'll move on. Moving on. Some good news for you Dallas Stars fans.
Wait.
Stars!
Stop!
Yeah. Oh man,
How
I
does
need
that
to
song
go.
go?
I need to go to a game.
I'm gonna put some metal now. Yeah,
like
Dallas
it.
Stars, man, I'm so proud.
Yeah, so they clinched a playoff series at home for the first time in 11 years.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, they beat
It's
the
been
Nashville.
over 10 years.
I know,
man.
man. That's 11 of them. It's
crazy.
Nashville Predators. They beat them 2-1 in overtime to wrap up the first round of the Western Conference Series. And for all you hockey fans out there, I will be covering more of the NHL playoffs. There's just 16 teams, and honestly, Robert, we just don't have enough time to cover
Gotta whittle it
during-
down a little bit, yeah.
That's the deal. Is once it gets down to maybe 8 or 4 teams, we'll cover it a little bit more in depth, and I can give you all scores and stuff. But right now, it's just really tough because we have kind of just do the whole overarching sport still. So,
Well, I'm really excited about the Stars win. Of course, I lived in Dallas during that big era. You know,
Yes,
when they were huge.
Yeah, whenever they won it.
the whole era, and I whenever they won, it was like my news feed on Facebook turned green.
yeah, just
it was
nothing but
crazy.
green. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really is cool. They're going to play St. Louis in the next round of the playoffs.
Good luck, Dallas Stars. Good luck, Dallas. My friends.
Seriously,
I love you guys.
It's awesome. I'm pumped. Gonna move over to some baseball stuff real quick. There's not a ton of baseball news, but I just wanted to cover something that this guy definitely deserves all the accolades that he's been given. Albert Pujols played for the St. Louis Cardinals for many years. He's now with the LA Dodgers, and been a prolific hitter, excellent first baseman, really good with the community, such a super nice guy, really excellent player. He's now he tied Babe Ruth, and I think since the recording he's since taken over. I'll have to fact check that. I didn't have a chance, but for RBI. Runs batted in, so that
Wow.
can be so that's if anybody's on base, you hit the ball, they're able to score, or if you hit a home run, yourself is counted as you're counted as an RBI, and anybody on base. So he beat Ruth, but there comes with a caveat with Ruth still, because they didn't start recording the RBI as a statistic until 1920. And Ruth, a lot of people don't know, he was a pitcher before he became a hitter, but he was with the Red Sox, and he began in 1914. So there's probably, there's quite a few lacking. But as far as the statistics
That's
go,
6 years of numbers right there.
that
right?
is seriously,
Interesting.
that is a lot of years, especially in baseball. But he's so Pujols is now behind Lou Gehrig with 1,994. Barry Bonds 1,996, and then Hank Aaron's A-Rod's got number 2 spot, 2,086 hits, and then the great, amazing Hank Aaron, 2,297 RBIs.
Man, oh man, oh man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
huge
so,
numbers. That's
so
crazy.
yeah, so I think that's really cool, and I definitely wanted to say something along those lines.
And suddenly I want a candy bar.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll run to the store and grab you one, buddy. Moving on, a couple of other stories. Kelly Stafford, she's the wife of Detroit Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford. This doesn't necessarily have to do with sports or football, but I really wanted to cover it. I think it's a really neat story. She's home after having surgery to remove a brain tumor.
Oh.
So apparently she went in and had an MRI earlier this month, because she'd been getting vertigo spells for the last year. I'm sure everybody's probably experienced it and just done, maybe whenever you stand up too quick or stuff like that, to where I'm not for sure exactly how the symptoms are, but they did an MRI earlier this month, found the tumor, acted fast, and got it removed. And apparently she is home, and she's apparently, I don't know what her well-being is, but she's posted on Instagram, so I'm guessing that she's probably doing better.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to hear that stuff.
And the last story, it's a sad one, but I definitely wanted to give condolences out there. Brenda Jackson, she's the mother of Dale Earnhardt Jr., and they also had another daughter, Kelly Earnhardt Miller. She lost her battle with cancer, and she passed at 65. So, yes. Condolences out to the Jackson and Earnhardt family, the Earnhardt family. She was a daughter of a NASCAR fabricator, Robert Gee, G-E-E is the last name, and they built various race cars, stuff, and her and Dale Earnhardt Sr. separated, and the kids stayed with her, and whenever he was off doing the NASCAR stuff. But she passed, and I just wanted to give a shout-out to that, make sure that, condolences to that whole family, and all you NASCAR fans, if you didn't know, now you know, so... but
She brought
Robert,
us a great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much all I got on my end, Robert. As always, thanks, buddy. I do appreciate you having me here. Chicago Title, 116 Northeast Street. Wynn Dubose, branch manager, 830-333-7050.
Let's talk about this next week. Probably checking in.
Yeah,
from the honeymoon.
yeah. So,
all right, so go and give a shout out. Talk about this.
Yeah,
we
so
don't
I'm
talk about your personal life much. But.
No, but I'm getting married to the lovely Rosie Wisnant. She runs the Opera House here. She's fantastic. We're getting married Saturday. And then we're actually headed up to Boston for our honeymoon.
Boston.
Yeah, so Tuesday, I'm going to try to swing it to where I call you from maybe if we can do it one way, but I'm going to still try to do the show next week. But I'll have to
by
call
phone
in.
live via the ballpark.
That
or
would be
something
awesome.
Like that, man.
Yeah, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to a game. Red Sox are playing the A's, which should be a great game. The Red Sox are not having the best sophomore season right now after winning the World Series last year, which is always tough. They beat my Astros last year, but I still, anytime I just like to see competitive baseball. So I really hope that should be a great game. But yeah, I would love to call in. So
how cool is your fiance if we're going to a baseball game on your honeymoon?
She is.
Right?
She is. I can't give her enough credit.
She spent time overseas in Europe, right?
Yeah, so she grew up in
she's seeing
England.
the world, and she's still cool enough to.
Yeah, and she's a big baseball fan. Her parents are both big baseball fans, and Steve and Katie are both big baseball fans. So it helped my cause. Obviously, most people around here know my history with baseball and stuff. So,
well, that's a big deal, and it could be a deal breaker. In a relationship,
for sure.
If somebody's a little too into sports or a little too into anything.
So actually, we're going to a missions game to take all of her friends from England that have never seen baseball. They have cricket and rounders, but they don't have good baseball. So I'm gonna try to get them there and see if they enjoy the slow, wonderful sport of baseball. But thanks, Robert. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, so Saturday I'll be getting hitched. Can't wait, man.
All right. Well, congratulations in advance, and we'll talk to you next week from your honeymoon, and you'll be Mr. Wisnant.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Again, that's KVOU Sports with Drew, brought to you by
Sports with
Chicago
me.
Title. We'll see you next week, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Real Country with Robert Miguel.
KVOU Sports with Drew, presented by Chicago Title.
On 104.9 Coyote Country.